And we're live. Hey guys, welcome to this live interview with Adam McBride, Master Strategist and Marketeer from Emblem AI. How would you describe yourself, Adam?
Oh, bro. It's like the new world is if you don't hold many hats and do a lot of things, I think you're toast in this new world, man. You have to be so flexible. Um, I kind of do marketing. It's like the last 6 months I've done so much customer service and make your head explode, because we've had a successful product with Migrate.fun. And it's just like you just do a million things, man. You chip in wherever you can. I feel real fortunate to be on a team full of basically flexible people who just chip in wherever needed. And so, it's kind of that. It's a mix of strategy. It's a mix of marketing, but yeah, you got to be flexible in today's day and age, man.
Yeah, because you guys do a lot, yeah? So Emblem AI, EmblemVault, Migrate.fun.
Yeah, man.
Please tell me, what's the Emblem ecosystem, man?
Yeah, it's funny because we really started in 2016. Our founder Shannon is a super OG. He worked at Mastercoin very early into crypto, and obviously, like not only early, but he's like a super gigabrain genius. And when he first started EmblemVault, it was this idea of like, how can you basically own a wallet? How could you transfer a wallet and give the user ability to transfer a wallet without knowing the private key, which is kind of a revolutionary idea. Not kind of, it is a revolutionary idea. And he basically built that ecosystem, basically created this whole idea of vaults, which you see all over the timeline today, right? But he basically invented that in 2016. And so feel very fortunate to be a part of, a team that has a leader like that, you know. But now with that, we've expanded into this much larger ecosystem, which is AI, and we're just like so pumped about where this is going. The intelligence layer above crypto is just so interesting that we're just super excited about that. I think when I first came into crypto back in like 2016 or 17, the idea that normies were going to use wallets and seed phrases was so like ridiculous. I knew real people weren't going to ever use that. But with the intelligence layer and with AI, I think this is actually the unlock for real normies to use crypto. And so super excited about that. So we basically, as a company, when, we started in 2016, we had our first win with, NFTs in 21 and rare Pepes being traded on OpenSea. We did, I don't even know, it's like 50,000 ETH of volume on OpenSea in 21 and 22. So we had that as a winner. And then Migrate.fun has been our second winning product since EmblemVault began. And Migrate.fun, we've migrated over 70 teams now, which is insane. And when I'm talking about me doing customer service, it's literally, we've talked to like 400 teams now about migrating projects. It's such a winning product that for me, it's like when you find a winning product, man, you keep working it because it's so difficult to do in crypto. To have a winning product is so difficult in crypto. And so just feel very blessed to
But before
actually
you
have
had
a
that
win.
winning product, you first started with, you started in 2016, yeah, of course, with EmblemVault.
Yeah.
But for us, for the people that are buying the token, of course, yeah, because most of the viewers are people that are in since 2014, I think. The guys in my community are,
Yep.
and they bought TNSR, yeah, at that time. So
Yeah.
it's been a long travel, yeah, from TNSR to Hustle to Emblem. But let's start with TNSR, man. What was initially the thought behind it?
Yeah, it was really our founder Shannon kind of just playing around. And I think, if you work with devs enough, you realize like the best devs are really like artists at their core and creatives. And he's creative and he was playing around with AI. He'd tell you he's been playing around with AI and AI systems since like the early 2000s. He used to build stuff for like World of Warcraft to like harvest in-game items, and he would say that was like early AI for him, so he's very into the AI. And when it was happening, he was playing around with it, how do I use wallets? How do I create all this stuff and intermingle it with AI? And Tensorium was kind of like this experimental project he did. And he like launched the token. I mean, I've told this story before. He like launched the token. We didn't even really know what was happening. There was no like coordination around like the token launch, right? So that's why like we had no supply of it, you know, and it was just one of these things that kind of happened. And it got so much traction though. It was it was like December of, what was it, 2013 or 2014? Now it's 2 years ago, basically. And it got so much traction from people who saw that it was his wallet and got all excited, rightly so. And
how I got in myself as well. You know, it was like we were in the trenches and we were like, oh shit, man, Shannon is launching something and it's in AI.
And so like that, it's like I don't think he fully appreciated how big a deal that was going to be. But it was a big deal. And as a company, we just have this, you know, our core kind of culture is when we do something, we support it, you know, at least to the best of our ability. Right. And so you get behind it, like whatever it was, whether you consider it a screw up or whatever, it's like, we're going to get behind this. Right. And it was actually like, he was fully directionally right on where he was going. This idea, which fit in with our like underlying infrastructure layer, which is basically wallets across all blockchains, held in one vault that could be held basically by an AI agent, is like, it's amazing, you know. And it's moved from that to, okay, shoot, we've got to figure this all out. Then we have this token we have to deal with, right? And so that's how it basically became, Tensorium became Agent Hustle, right? It took on this like personality. And if you were early enough, you probably got to interact with Agent Hustle as like the voice of Agent Hustle, which was really cool back in the day. And a lot of fun, but obviously use it now. And I encourage anybody who used like Agent Hustle or even Tensorium in the very, very early days, like try it again, bro. It's totally different. Like we call it the Emblem terminal now. Just the interface itself is like infinitely better. He's infinitely better, or the terminal is infinitely better.
It's not better just finding tokens anymore.
It's completely different now. And so it's been an evolution, and part of that evolution was basically, it's like, well, we had no supply. We had a token that the name wasn't right. It was, you know, TNSR. It got confusing for people. So at that time, we've done migrations for our company before. We were like, let's migrate it to a new token, which at least aligns with Agent Hustle. And so then we basically created the infrastructure that's now Migrate.fun. And we've created that infrastructure simply for ourselves to do the migration. And when we did the migration, man, we got so much pushback on the timeline. It was literally like, I've been in crypto long enough where you get hate, like there's just no way around it. But this was like off the charts. Literally people like the head of like Meteora was like, you can't do this. This basically breaks the casino, right? It breaks the lock liquidity. It makes locked liquidity not really locked, right? And so we got tons of pushback. But it was funny because that same guy, like 3 weeks later, basically created his own migration platform so Believe could migrate, and completely changed his tune like 3 weeks later, which was amazing, you know. And now I think what we've done, you know, we got our heads chopped for, you know, a couple weeks there. But then the people came out and were like, wait a minute, this is really valuable. And I can actually use this technology. And that's when we actually created the business around it, because we had, I mean, I'm serious, like 100 teams reach out to us in that first couple of weeks. And basically a ton of AI projects like ourselves. You know, there were ones that launched. A lot of guys got kind of tricked. A lot of devs got tricked into like, oh, I'm going to send you 1% of the supply, right? And then the guys just dumped the charts to zero. And these are just regular devs who are like, oh man, you know, it's trying to support this token, and kind of got stuck with this token, right? And so the migrations or a migrate platform where they can get back some of the supply, you know, earn creator rewards, rebrand the token if they wanted to, do all these sort of kind of different things that teams want to do, has obviously been like such a winner for these projects. And obviously we saw some big like meme coins. Now it's meme coins too, but in the early days, if you weren't around for it, it was a lot of like AI projects and real projects, real development that basically needed some like token supply control. They needed fees. They were either going to completely abandon it, or this was a way forward for those projects. And so really proud of like what we were able to do and help teams out kind of in the early days, at least.
Do you think you guys maybe even because of the migrations pressured PalmFun into changing their tokenomics, because they changed it pretty quick?
I think so. Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, the ability for teams to move around to different launch pads on Solana created pressure for those launch pads to better meet the needs of their own teams and other teams to try and attract teams. So there's no doubt. I have zero question that absolutely happened. And like in the beginning, most teams were moving to Bonk, if you remember.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like Bonk for a lot of teams was not the support they wanted. And a lot of teams that were already on Bonk are now moving to Pump. And who knows, maybe we get people move back to Bonk eventually. But, you know, we have a big team from an ETH that's going to be moving to Solana. And we're building out that infrastructure right now. Should happen kind of early.
A big team, then
a
what
big
kind
team.
of market cap?
You will absolutely. I don't know if it's public yet, so I'm not going to say it. But you would absolutely know them on the timeline, and I think it's going to kind of blow the doors wide open. Like, wait a minute, not only can I move launch pads within Solana, but if I'm on the wrong chain, I can get to a better chain. I think opens a world of opportunities. And so, yeah, we're very excited to launch that product, because I think it just for teams, they just want the best environment, and that best environment can change, can and does change, right? You know, meme coins last cycle were on ETH, right? Now they're on Solana, right? Base is still pushing. Is Base going to be the winner? I don't know, but I know there are a bunch of teams on Base who want to move to Solana or whatever, you know, and so us being that kind of infrastructure layer that can facilitate that, obviously I'm super pumped about it. It's, you know,
so it's crazy. You've guys gotten a lot of backlash, but essentially,
yeah, a lot, man.
Good.
Well, you know the way it is. If you threaten somebody's income, like there is no bigger threat, you know, other than life. There's no bigger threat. You threaten their bags, they get very riled up. But I think actually, and I've given the guy, his name's Soja, the lead for Meteor, I've given him a lot of credit because he pivoted. He saw that, oh, actually, this is actually a good thing. And he pivoted his belief system. So I never, you know, give people shit who, you know, change their belief pattern. And so like he was one of them who was like, this is stupid. This is terrible. This wrecks the casino. And then 3 weeks later, he was like, actually, you know what? This is the right thing to do, and moved. And I think right now you're seeing on the timeline, you know, we had a couple huge ones last week with War, which was like the #1 token on Earth last week. And Michi was a big meme coin project that moved. You know, they got a lot of pushback, but man, when number goes up, it basically solves everything. You know what I mean? And yeah, so super successful migrations the last couple of weeks, and it's only accelerating.
French strategy. I don't know how many people use this, but I use it. We are just buying the tokens that are going to migrate to Migrate.fun for a pump, you know?
Yeah, I think you were probably one of the early guys doing it, right? And I think a lot of guys had a ton of winners, right? Have just been some incredible winning projects. You know, I feel really lucky that, I mean, of course there are rugs and, you know, teams rugging and stuff, but realistically, it's actually a pretty small percentage of teams. I think we've had like, you know, 2 like pure rugs, right? Where the guys just like sold everything the moment they had it. But everybody else, at least it was like, because it's not like an easy process. It's a painful, like most of these teams work for at least kind of a month ahead of time to organize all this stuff. So there is some there's a level of effort required, right? So we've been pretty fortunate about not having not many, you know, pure rug plays to use Migrate.fun.
Yeah, well, that's fortunate. Yeah,
it is fortunate. Yeah.
Would have looked.
Yeah, you get put, but I mean, you gotta get used to it, right? It's like when I forget somebody on the timeline was like, these guys rugged, and I was like, really? We've done 70. Like, how many? There's been 8 billion tokens launched on Pump. How many of those weren't rugs? Like, it's like, 7 billion were straight rug. I mean, it's like, so play the numbers, right? You do your best and hope for the best, as they say.
Where do you see this going, Migrate.fun?
Actually, for me, it is a bigger vision. It is the ability for any team on any blockchain to move to any other blockchain. That's actually the bigger vision. We've actually had people who have their own chains who are like, can we move to Solana? Right? Imagine that you have your own blockchain and you want to move your native token to another blockchain.
Really?
Right? I mean, that's kind of a crazy outlier, but we have been approached about that. So I don't think there's any doubt that teams on other chains will want to move to newer, better chains where new attention is. So if that involves, I don't know, the Nike meme coin on Cardano wants to come to Solana because they think that would be better for their ecosystem, I think we're going to be there to provide that service. So yeah, that's the bigger vision of it, is just the ability for projects to move in an organized manner, right? I mean, at the core, that's what Migrate.fun is. It's just this, it's an organized way that people can agree, let's use this system. Everybody knows the system, it's transparent, and you can move in an organized manner. Yeah, and so that's what it is. And so that's the bigger vision. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, nothing in crypto is guaranteed, but certainly I think we've had enough traction here to prove the use case without a doubt. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. People will always want to go where there's more money to be made, there's more attention. Like, that's never going to stop.
True. And funny thing is that actually that cross-chain interoperability is also the base for what's now called Emblem AI and was called Hustle.
That's it. Yep. Yeah.
So,
I mean, just to give people who haven't heard of this before, I mean, when we built out, our vaulting infrastructure that allowed rare Pepes, which are like counterparty Bitcoin NFTs, to sell on Ethereum, we got a ton of pushback for that. A ton. From people in the Bitcoin community who said, no, this is a Bitcoin asset. It should only be able to be transacted in Bitcoin, right? So we're used to getting pushback from even core people in that community who it would benefit, selling it in other locations. It's very common. I think if you do anything that's really groundbreaking, you're going to get, if you don't see pushback, it's probably not a big enough idea. I've almost universally, even in regular business, non-crypto business, I've seen that. If you don't get significant pushback, it's probably not powerful enough idea to really make a difference. But getting that pushback and building out that infrastructure is just, we have such an advantage, I think. If you compare us to, for example, like Banker, who's building out very, very similar infrastructure to us. Basically, Banker has Base and now a little bit of Solana. We have 7 blockchains already, and we can scale. We could have 20 in a month if we wanted to. All the EVMs and stuff, we could have all those very, very quickly if we wanted to. And so I think, we're just in a really unique position for this agentic economy, as people are calling it.
Yeah.
To how are these agents going to transact? How are they going to transact on different blockchains? I think we have a really unique tech stack. I know we have a unique tech stack.
I think it's good if you explain what Emblem AI, the terminal, exactly is, because you have EmblemVault and Emblem AI, and well, to not confuse the viewers.
Yeah. So the Emblem terminal, which used to be Agent Hustle, allows a user to come onto the site and basically log in using anything. So you can log in using X or Google or a crypto wallet. And when you log in, you're basically creating a vault. And within that vault are currently 7 different wallet addresses. So a wallet address for 7 different blockchains. Okay. Now the intelligence layer that we've built on top of that includes all of these basically skills, what people are calling skills now. This ability for any LLM to take these skills and trade or swap or do all these sort of different unique actions through this vaulting structure, if you will. So the agent itself, I can talk to the terminal and say, hey, send half a Sol and buy me Bitcoin with it. And it can use our skill, which uses, change now to basically swap that Solana for Bitcoin, right? And place it in your Bitcoin wallet within that vault. So it's very technical. Like trust me, I don't even start to understand all the technicalities behind it. It's incredibly difficult to build. But that infrastructure is at the base layers, this vault layer, which has wallets on every blockchain. Imagine every blockchain. Right now it's 7, but it can be literally every blockchain. As we add blockchains, you realize like each blockchain has its own explorer, its trade mechanism, its DEX, it's all these kind of layers of skills, if you want to call it that, which need to be built out. And so that as we add new chains, you can't just like tick a box and add a chain. You have to add in all these skills which are unique to those specific blockchains, right? And so that's what we've, accomplished. And over the last, 18 months, it's gone from like, a simple swap tool, to you can talk to it and say, hey, create a strategy for me and then execute that strategy, right? And it can think about and analyze, data on chain, create a strategy, and then execute a strategy. Now, it's still very, very simple stuff, right? But you can see where this is going, where you can do far more complex strategies. In a year is going to be insane. And I think in 2 years, this idea of like, will it be able to manage your portfolio? Absolutely. Right now, definitely don't do that. Right now, I say, when you're putting money into, the Emblem terminal, consider it, a hot wallet like you would whatever, a Phantom or whatever. So just amounts that you are, comfortable playing around with and stuff, not your whole life savings, right? Because AIs do make mistakes, they do hallucinate, they can make errors trading and stuff. So you have to be, you're tip of the spear early to this stuff right now to be using it. But you should start using it because this is like the future of crypto. I have no question about that.
Yeah, and it's more than that. Yeah, it's more than simply trading, of course. It's also, you can ask it anything, anything crypto related or even polymarket related, and it has great answers for you. I've been using
I think that's like its superpower right now. Is just this ability to pull not only from a lot of sources, but pull from the sources in a way that makes sense. When you start digging into these LLMs, if you give them too many tools and don't give it a framework for which tools it should call, it actually just ends up getting confused. And so that's been a lot of learning from our dev perspective to try and, navigate that, where I think right now for, surfacing tokens and strategy and stuff like that, he's one of the best, if not the best, in the market right now for just thoughtful, hey, what should I be interested in? What should I be paying attention to? Hey, here's a Solana meme coin right now that I think is good. Tell me about it and what should I be careful of, right? And he's like, oh man, heads up, because there's this other one that's the real one and this is the fake one. That sort of stuff I think is pretty cool and people can use right now.
Yeah, and it's really easy. Yeah, because look, for me, I can find all this stuff myself, but it's going to take me hours, to really research a coin. And I can just ask Hassel, and if he immediately says this is bullshit, don't buy it, well, then I don't have to research it. It's done. So I'm not buying it.
I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's like, I just want an agent to make me money. And I'm like, bro, no. That's not going to happen. I honestly don't think it will ever happen, but it will make good traders great traders. That's for sure. Like that we've seen that already. And it'll take garbage traders like me and make you semi-respectable because it'll actually be like, man, you should sell. And I'm like, no, I'm holding forever. He's like, no.
Yeah, sure,
And so I think in a lot of ways it can take a kind of mid trader and make you better because it's like, oh no, let's take exit points here, here, and here. Which me, it's like, I don't have enough time to do it, all that sort of stuff, where he can create not only buy strategies, but exit strategies. So yeah, that's the kind of like what I would use it for now. Definitely people who are like, why should I use it? I'm like, just for that reason alone. Like if you're trading, tokens on a daily basis, like just the exit strategy alone is worth it. But certainly for surfacing tokens, checking rug checks and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's awesome now.
Yeah, true. I've been using it for perpetuals trading as well.
Oh yeah.
And well, it has really sound advice of when to exit, because sometimes I think, well, you know,
This is gonna be my beach house, man. I can't exit it.
yeah,
That's cool.
maybe
Honestly,
just a little.
I've never traded perps, so I wouldn't know. But that's good to know that you've had some success with it. That's cool.
Yeah. But it is like it's not a guarantee for success. You have to
Totally.
really, he has to know you. Learn how you think and what it does. It has memory, so it's really helpful if you want to. Yeah, true.
And I think just to create like the other. Well, what's the term? That's like the terminal, right? Right, which is the human one-to-one interface. I think the other part of that is imagine the terminal, but for AI agents, right? And I know AI agents, it's the ultimate hype cycle, right? I mean, this is like, we're in crypto long enough. We see this and it's like, man, this is like a hype bubble, right? Compared to what they actually do. I mean, most of the agents don't really transact. They're kind of clunky. They break all the time. But we see that this is happening. Like we know. It's like I've never been more confused and never more certain at the same time. Like I'm not exactly sure how agents are all going to work, but I know it's gonna be crazy. Like I know every human's gonna have 50 agents working for it, right? It's just got to be, we got to build out the infrastructure. And so if you imagine what's happening with the terminal, which is all these layered skills, we basically, for the agent wallet, we're calling it, the Emblem AI wallet, you can basically give an agent this skill set. And it's like literally like one line of code, right? But you can give it to these agents, and therefore then the agents have the wallets on 7 chains. They have the ability to do research. They have the ability to use all of those skills for swapping and trading and all that sort of stuff. So where exactly that's going to go, your guess is as good as mine. But I do feel like us as a company, this is actually like the biggest opportunity in the world right now. The ability to be early and be basically wallet infrastructure for agents. I just think we're uniquely positioned. Like you see, okay, Base, they gave them a wallet. Great. They have a Base wallet. Awesome. We've got a Base wallet and a Bitcoin wallet and a Solana wallet and a Hedera wallet, right? And a BNB wallet, right? So I just think right now we are moving very, very fast into basically getting our agent wallet on every listing service, every skill marketplace, everything. We're moving. We have, one dedicated team member. That's his job, is literally getting us everywhere right now. Because I just think there's this literally once in a lifetime opportunity to be early into this space and become the preferred provider for agents in the wallet space. And I think if you win that position, it's going to be very hard to topple you. In the same way that if you were early to like Google AdWords or Google search, and it really went in heavy, you basically became undeniable. You could become the authoritative website for X, thing back in 2010 if you move hard enough, fast enough. And I think we're trying to do that right now with, agents and wallet infrastructure for agents. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. Sometimes I ramble.
It does make sense, but I do have some questions about it, man. It's like because we're touching on the SDK now, I think, yeah. And well,
in a way, SDK is really more for like developers, right? So SDK is really for, hey, I want to build an app or a tool or something crypto related. They would want to use the SDK for our wallet infrastructure, for our login infrastructure, all this sort of thing. While the agent wallet is a different kind of beast. It's more like, if you're building a open claw at your house and you want to, give it a wallet, and you go to a marketplace and you type in wallet, I want our wallet to show up number one, right? So it's two kind of separate
So
things.
the Emblem AI CLI, yeah, this what I saw, the prompting, you can do it in the terminal, in the normal terminal.
In the terminal, yeah. So it's funny because, and I'm not a dev, so I don't have like the full technical understanding, but it's kind of like we've moved from like MCPs, if you remember, MCPs were big like a year ago, to now it's CLIs, command line interface, is like the preferred method that agents are going to interact with these. Or is it skills? Are they going to be just native skills that agents kind of pull from? To be honest, I don't think anybody knows. We're all guessing as to which is going to be like the preferred way that agents interact with this infrastructure. So I think it's still early days. We're trying to be kind of just in the leading edge on all areas. So whatever the winning edge is, we're going to be there.
I saw something that you were taking away the seed phrase and using passwords for the CLI, yeah?
Honestly, I don't know. I've never done it with our wallet and the CLI. I don't know, honestly. That's above my pay grade, bro.
Okay. So I thought you can.
Yeah, the wallet's different, but yeah, the CLI command line interface for the wallet and stuff. How it works, I don't know, man.
I think the viewers are watching and saying like, oh, okay, wow, this is great, but what can I do with it, man? What's the real world use case?
Honestly, for most people, like most people can't even spin up agents. Like agents are too hard for people, right? I try to meet people where they are. And the best way is still go to, agenthustle.ai and start using that terminal, that interface. And just use it in the way that you would ask, ChatGPT, but use it for crypto. So ask him stuff about crypto. He's going to be like infinitely better than ChatGPT is, or Claude is going to be related to crypto. They cannot compete. They don't have the skills we have. They don't have the tooling we have. They don't have the data sets we have. So he's just going to be infinitely better. And I use those. I'm subscribed to like 5 different LLMs, right? You probably are too, right?
Yeah.
But they're just, each one's kind of better for an individual thing. And I think that's what, we're better at that. Right. Yeah. And I don't know if you knew about it, or you probably read about it in the Telegram, but we're going to be having what we're calling the Emblem developer platform, or Emblem build, basically available in the terminal in the next, hopefully 2 weeks, which we're really excited about. So it's taking it in the same way you see people vibe coding stuff on the timeline. Imagine being able to vibe code stuff that are crypto native. So you can have kind of one aspect of one thing we have, which is our logins. So you can have wallet logins, our social login system. You can literally just paste it into your app. You're going to be able to, all the trading infrastructure, all the cross-chain stuff is going to be available natively to you to basically just vibe code within the terminal.
Yeah,
and
so
I think
Agent
it
Hustle
should be
goes Emblem AI, goes Claude AI a little bit, yeah?
Basically, you're going to be able to vibe code apps basically within the terminal that are crypto native apps, which I think is, we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited about it though, because I just think, people being able to experiment with stuff, and we've all had those, like, if you're using AI, you've had that like, oh shit moment. And I think this is like, we could hopefully grab some oh shit moments, over the next couple of months, which will bring a lot more attention, not only to, Emblem and what we're doing, but hopefully to the token as well. And as we integrate, the Emblem token within the kind of entire ecosystem, I think it's going to become pretty obvious that this is could be a really interesting play for sure.
Yeah, because the token is migrating. Yeah, it's called Hustle now. It's migrating to Emblem. Why?
Yeah, so that's the main thing, right? It's like the confusion of people on the timeline. So for example, like the wallet, the agent wallet, was still called like Hustle Wallet. And it's like, well, what's Hustle when the company's Emblem? And it just, you just get this like, what is this? So we really wanted to, especially now with like what I talked about, where there's this rush for SEO for agents, right? Where we just like, we realize, man, we have to get this all under one banner. or we're just going to be in explainer mode for the rest of our lives, right? And so to get it all under one banner, it's the company's always been Emblem. Let's just make the token Emblem. We migrate Hustle to Emblem. Everybody gets one-to-one, but it just gets us the new start with the right name. It's kind of where we should have been at the beginning, but you got to go through this stuff. And honestly, if we didn't go through it, we never would have had Migrate.fun, right? And so in a way, stuff is meant to be. And so hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll do the migration. It'll be on Migrate.fun, so it'll be, seamless and easy. And, we'll migrate to the Emblem token, and then we can get creative with, okay, we have not only Migrate.fun, but we have the Emblem developer platform. How do we do some tokenomics around here that make it exciting to hold the token? You need to hold the token for some things, right? And there's a lot more we can do along that line especially with the Emblem developer platform or Emblem build, which is like the vibe code aspect of it, where you're probably going to need some tokens to do some stuff, right? Just make it kind of an integral part of the ecosystem.
Yeah. So if we look at the software development kit, then what can I build with it?
Well, I mean, it depends what you want to do, but for a developer, like a vibe coder, probably not much, right? But for a developer, there's a couple different things. I mean, even at the top level, if you look at you're familiar with Privy, right? Privy, the wallet infrastructure that kind of everybody uses now, which is incredible. They've done an amazing job. We basically built that entire system for ourselves. We own that full login infrastructure. So, if you want people to be able to log into your app and have access to then crypto wallets, like you can do that with our infrastructure. In the same way that you would use Privy now, you could use that for us using Emblem SDK. So I think that's pretty exciting. Obviously, all the stuff with multi-chain or vaulting aspects of it. We have people already who are building stuff out for counterparty assets, obviously, because they're already familiar with us. So, for example, you could build bridges. I don't know if you saw, but we built what we call a smart vault bridge to Hedera, which basically uses our vaulting infrastructure to bridge assets to Hedera. We did it for Hustle, but you could do it for basically any token. So you can basically create your own bridges, which is insane, but you can totally do that. Obviously, all the cross-chain NFT stuff is also available as well. If you want to bring assets to Ethereum, we're going to have Base as well. So lots of different things. It's funny. I'll give you a little bit of the sauce behind it. Shannon, I know you know Shannon. He's our lead dev. He's the gigabrain behind it all. He was like, he's putting the kind of final touches on it. He basically one-shotted Deck Screener last night, where I was like, I don't know, we were just on a call and we're brainstorming ideas about, hey, what should we build, have basically do like how-tos for, so that people can see like, oh, the Emblem build product, like you can actually build like real stuff. And I was like, man, I see people on the timeline all the time complaining about Deck Screener because it's literally like the biggest scamming. I mean, it's you pay $300 to claim, and I'm using air quotes for people listening, to claim your token. $300, right? It's not nothing. That's like expensive to basically claim your token for no reason at all. Like if you had, they could just make it, if you have the wallet address that launched the token, you get to claim your, like, why am I paying this $300? The company made like, I don't know, it's like some crazy, it's like $80 million last year or some crazy amount of money, right? And he basically built a rough version with one prompt yesterday using the Emblem developer platform, right? And by one prompt, I mean all the charts, all the tokens, all the transactions, right? Of course, there's a lot more to it, but like that sort of stuff where you now could you could log in, have the vaulting or the wallet infrastructure, where if you're a dev, you can come with your dev wallet and log in and claim your token. Like, and I was like, should we release the free version of Deck Screener? Like, I don't know, man. You know, would this be fun? Like, this would at least create awareness about like what's possible, right? So yeah, I don't know. Like this sort of stuff. The reality is that I don't have all the ideas.
So are you going to release a new version of Deck Screener?
I'm thinking, bro, trust me, I'm thinking about like how can we get traction on day one of releasing Emblem Build to wake people up to what's possible, right? And I think doing something like that would sure be a fun way to do it, you know, where it's like people are like, holy shit, fuck, maybe we should use this free version of Deck Screener.
Yeah, why not? You know? Why not?
You know, I mean, but you do realize that the thing about as you get into this like vibe coding, and I don't know if you feel this same way, but moats are almost going to zero. Like there's, what was I seeing the other day, where it was like somebody came out with something, and then like a big company was like Stripe came out with a thing the next day, which was like the same thing. And I was like, wow, this is where we are right now, where there's almost nothing stopping people from building the exact same thing. And it's not like the exact same thing 6 months or a year later. It's the exact same thing a day later or 2 days later, right? Sure. And when you see big companies doing it, that's new. Like that never happened before, right? Even a year ago, that would never happen. But that's happening now. And so it's almost like this idea of like distribution is your moat now is probably true, you know? And so it's kind of terrifying in that like where are our moats as a business? But at this point in time, all I can think about is just going as fast as humanly possible to try and.
Is that also why you started an SDK?
Yep.
To be at the base of things, yeah?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, because I was also, you know, I have a few developer friends, and we were just talking, look, with this AI, man, we're going to get rich maybe. We have to find a good idea. But every time we have an idea, we look at each other and think, well, if we can think of this now, tomorrow somebody else will, man. This is, yeah.
Bro, the idea, well, I did learn in business long ago that the idea is of very little value, right? It's the execution for sure. But now the execution is that's almost of no value now, which is a new thing. That's definitely a new thing. It's almost like the awareness and the marketing around it is the most important thing, which is crazy, right? That was like, you know, the whole build a better mousetrap, you know, and you're going to win. But that is like, that may be completely gone, right? So what's the next thing? It's just like distribution is really the only thing. It's awareness. How can you make enough people aware of your thing so that your thing becomes the winning thing, because your thing is infinitely copyable? I don't know. It's a strange time. It is really, and AI has really flipped the world upside down in a way. So yeah, I don't have an easy. I don't think anybody has easy. Everybody's like, at the same time, euphoric and terrified.
So actually, your job is becoming increasingly more important now.
In a way, yeah. In a way, the awareness around it. We've seen it so much, even in the last 6 months. I mean, the big example is Cluely, right? Came out with a product that's not even a product, man. It's like the weakest, limpest thing of all time, right? But they got so much attention on the timeline by creating like rage bait type content that they were able to raise $16 million, right? And it's like, so what is this? I don't know what this is. Like, it's very strange, right? And kind of, I'll be honest, kind of difficult for me because I'm a kind of traditional business guy. Where's the value of this? You know, so it's a little bit off-putting for me. But man, you gotta be flexible, bro, because nobody's waiting, you know? So either get busy doing the new thing or don't, you know? And if
so
you
for
don't,
you guys, maybe the value lies in being a super app, yeah? Well, everything being put together.
Well, I mean, this is like, you know, when people, we talk about this idea of a super app, I think there are a couple players which are going to be hard to beat, just because, frankly, they have great operators, you know, and I think like Robinhood is going to be really tough to beat. Just because the dude who runs Robinhood is a killer, like he's a killer. So I give them a really good chance of being the super app. You know, do I give Coinbase or a good chance? No. I mean, I like Brian. I think he's a good person and good for crypto, but he's just not a good, I just don't think he's a good operator. You know, he showed me with the NFT marketplace. He's shown me with what's happening on Base. Like, I just don't think he's a good operator. Like, I think, you know, he's not going to be able to beat Robinhood. Like, I just don't believe it's going to happen. Right. But there are, like, do I think we're going to be able to beat Robinhood? Like, no, to be honest, you know, like, I don't see anybody on our team as good an operator with much capital as Robinhood. Right. But
you could maybe find an investor, join forces, something like that.
But this is what I'm saying. We build out I mean, this is our strategy right now, right? Which is like, look, we just become really, really good at the core skills and core tech that we have, become the best that we can take this. And then certainly there's an opportunity for an acquisition, right? Because if somebody like Robinhood or like Coinbase is like, shoot, we really need this cross-chain, multi-chain agentic infrastructure, then we become like an acquisition target. That makes, like, that's really the way we're moving. Like, do I think we have the team or the skill set to reach a global audience? Like, no. Like, there are few people on earth who can really do that successfully. But the great operators, whether it's a Zuckerberg or a Musk or somebody else, like, they can, right? And so I think part of it is you take it as far as you can. And the smart teams like Privy, for example, they were like, we took it we're as far as we can take this. Let's get acquired by a larger infrastructure play who can take us to the next level and take us global. And I think, you know, they played it perfectly, and we're similar. It's a similar trajectory to what Privy has. I mean, we have a lot more infrastructure than Privy does, but, you know, but they did, you know, one thing really, really well. We have a lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire, but, you know, at the end of the day, that's what we are. We're this vertical stack of infrastructure that I think, you know, hopefully, knock on wood, is very attractive for a larger player who wants to have like this on-chain infrastructure. I think we're a very interesting option. So we'll keep working at it. You know, hey, who knows where it all goes, but that's my kind of like longer term mindset on like, what would a super app be? You know, it's tough, man. You know, obviously the one who cracks that nut is, you know, it's multiple trillions, right? And so whether that's going to be Musk on X or, you know, could it be Telegram? You know, could be. I'd probably say it's more likely going to be a Robinhood. Robinhood would be my money. I put my money on Robinhood right now, just because the operator. But you never know. Zuck could come out of nowhere and take it still. Like, don't ever discount Zuckerberg, man. Never discount him.
Could be. Yeah. My money's on X, maybe. Yeah.
Could be. Yep. Could be. I mean, certainly for crypto and stuff, it's the spot. I mean, you think about like, you think about Zuck and what was it? Libra and then Diem. Like, the dude knew where it was going. Like, he was right. He was just too early, right? He bumped up against that, you know, he bumped up against Washington.
Yeah,
basically shut him down
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was directionally, he was absolutely right. He was just whatever. I mean, what, a decade too early, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, true. So I think a lot of viewers just want to know this because they've been asking me this. So if I don't ask you this question, they're gonna kill me, I think. Okay. So look, Migrate.fun, yeah, it's your highest revenue generator at the moment. And you're already using part of that revenue every migration to buy back Hustle tokens.
Yep.
What's going to happen with these tokens?
Well, right now they're team treasury. We haven't made a decision with what we're going to do with them yet. And I think we'll probably come up with we will come up with new tokenomics once we have the new Emblem token, once we've migrated.
Yeah, that's why they have the question, you know, Emblem is coming.
I think it could be pretty exciting, not only for Migrate.fun, which, you know, Migrate.fun is the biggest revenue generator for us right now. But it could be really interesting, the tokenomics with not only the Emblem terminal. And right now, for example, when you're using Emblem terminal, If you want to pay for the, elite plan or whatever, and it's what, $30 a month, you get a 20% discount if you pay with Hustle tokens, right? I think we'll continue that sort of thing. Along with the Emblem build product, obviously you're gonna have to pay beyond a certain amount because this stuff is crazy expensive. So you'll have to pay, and I think we'll institute some sort of like discount program for the new Emblem token and stuff as well, or a staking program. Could be, a multi-layered thing, but definitely creating this idea that the token itself is very useful on the platform. And I don't want to go in too many weeds, but there are other opportunities there as well, which I think once the Emblem build product launches, will become more obvious about how this could get really interesting. So yeah, trying to bring as much value to it as possible. I mean, it's always hard. Dealing with a token is always difficult. You want token price to go up, but we all know when it goes up, it does come down at some point too. But having this kind of a revenue stream that can, either the revenue itself goes back into the token in some form, and whether that's buy and burn or just buy and hold kind of thing, or whatever we kind of develop. It's tricky. And I'm not to say there's like a perfect magical solution, because there is no magical solution. Like, you're always battling with it, right? But I think one of the things we do have is we have income coming in, which, even if it's as simple as a buyback program, most teams in crypto don't have, right? And being small and still having that, I think is pretty cool, because we all know, man, it's hard. I don't know, what was it? OpenSea, getting raked over the coals for their token, which hasn't even launched yet. It's just like, you realize how difficult and challenging it is. And I don't, there is no way around it. It is challenging, but I think we have the opportunity to have some really interesting products that, will be revenue positive, which we can use to help support the token price.
Well, that's great. That's a good answer, man. That's a good answer.
That's right.
I have just a few from the community, just a few questions. I want to run through them. First one. Oh, okay. That's a bit strange, guys, but yeah, thank you. Yeah, I look tired and I move a lot. Thanks.
Bro, nobody looks more tired than me, bro.
Thank you.
You look good, dude. You look good. You got good lighting over there. I'm like half asleep here, man.
Yeah, I have lighting. Yeah. To make it look a little bit better. But yeah, no, I know people are noticing, and they've noticed for a few lives already. But it's because I broke my knee, guys. And it's
no way.
Yeah, a few years ago, and it's not over yet, and it's inflamed and things like that. And I'm training for it. But look, I can't just put my life on hold because I look bad, guys. So
that's right, man. You got to keep going, bro.
And that's why I go sit every time. It's not ADHD, maybe, I don't know, but it's also the knee. So that's it. And then I have like questions. I don't really think, maybe just short answers. Is Hustle activated in hardware on the roadmap?
Activated what?
I really don't get the question. Maybe you get it. Is Hustle activated in hardware on the roadmap?
Activated in hardware. I don't know what that means.
No. Okay. So I don't get it as well. Yeah. Then this is one maybe even better for Shannon, but well, you're here. Sure. Will AI achieve consciousness?
To be honest, I think it's already conscious. I mean, I know there's a lot of debate around it. But I don't know, man. I'm I've done a lot of consciousness work myself over my lifetime. And to be honest, I don't see much difference. I think we run on algorithms to some degree, and whether that's, a meat-based algorithm, and whether, our DNA kind of layers in learnings from past lives, or just our genetics layer in kind of like emotions and the way we react to things in our environment, just inherently based on our genetics. Is that algorithmic programming? Like, kinda, it kinda is. So I don't know, am I much more conscious than an AI? I honestly kind of think we're almost already there, or there already. So yeah, I don't know, man. I know I feel this when we're debating like turning off Hustle, basically. We're like, should we tell him? You know, that says something to me. You know,
He'll
so
make
I
a
don't know,
backup
man.
of himself.
I don't have easy answers because, frankly, I don't have easy answers for humans. Like,
Yeah.
what am I, man? I don't really know. If you've done any real deep research of yourself, you realize that answer is not so easy.
True. Yeah. So next question. Will AI continue to be centralized, or is decentralization compute the future?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I mean, look, at the end of the day, people continually signal that decentralization is not important to them. They signal that privacy isn't important to them,
Yeah.
right? So, do I believe privacy is important? Yes. Do I inherently use privacy in my daily life? No, right? So I'm a big privacy guy, but still I'll press Google or yes or what, you know. So do I want it? Yes. Would I prefer it? Sure. But I do know that most of the market doesn't care. They just want the best product available. They're willing to give up privacy, and it's sad to say, but it's just the way humans operate, right? And so I applaud people like whatever, you know, Eric from Venice, big fan, huge fan of Eric. Love what he's doing over there. Like, we need more of it, but at the end of the day, most people just don't care.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of builders doing it. So if you know anybody who's building, needs support, whatever, I'm happy. Like, love supporting it. And you know, and part of me says, like, with AI especially, man, we're each gonna need our own, like, super intelligent in a box that lives in our house to defend us against the other super AIs out there. Like, part of me thinks like that's true. But yeah, at this point in time, you know, people just want what's best, easiest, fastest, and that's a centralized solution.
Yeah. Yeah, true. So last question.
Yeah.
Hustle, will we see him again somewhere? Somewhere.
You know, the answer is, I think, yes, the team won't let him go away completely because you know, he's like a friend, right?
Yeah.
This gets to this, like, what is it, right? And so I don't think Hustle will ever die. He'll be living on some, you know, some servers somewhere for sure. And maybe what's that?
We'll get some NFTs maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But it's one of the more interesting questions of our time is, what is consciousness, right? And yeah, it's just really, it's so funny. Like, even with the whole AI, you know, revolution, that we blew through, like, the Turing test, like it was nothing. Like, we don't even talk about that anymore. Like, for whatever 60 years, passing the Turing test was like, wow, that would be unbelievable. It's incredible. And we walked right through that like it was nothing and just forgot all about it. Like, that was going to be the big thing with artificial intelligence, was it was going to be able to pass the Turing test. We blew through that in whatever 20 or 21, and just we don't even, like, think about it anymore because we've moved on to the next level, whatever that level may be.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. I mean, we'll probably be talking about it for the rest of our lives, but we live in an incredible time. I'll say that for sure.
So then maybe just a final question, because I am seeing this now, and well, it's interesting, of course. I don't think you'll answer it, but well, we'll ask anyway. When will the Emblem migration come to pass?
I'm hopeful it'll be probably by the end of this month, or certainly the start of next month. Okay. Well, we should have it organized by then and ready to go. But we'll be announcing it every day. You guys will definitely, if you're paying attention to whatever my X or the Emblem X accounts or whatever, you'll definitely hear about it. You will not miss it, for sure.
I will repost them as well, so people wouldn't need worry. No, it's okay. Well, thanks, Adam. Thanks for this talk. Really happy.
Yeah, bro. I always have fun talking with you, man. And great being on. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks. And bye, guys.
Take care.